So the first thing we need to know is what's our calorie goal exactly? So there's some awesome calculators that you can find on the internet for free that'll give you a rough idea. Again, you'll never get something 100 million% accurate, but you can get something pretty close in that ballpark range. So there's this one here. There's also plenty of other ones online that'll give you a pretty good estimate of where you should be aiming for. And in terms of food tracking, if you're sort of new to this, in terms of figuring out calories, stuff like MyFitnessPal, there's actually plenty of other apps out there as well that are probably a bit cheaper that can just help you to gauge how many calories are in what. And then after a few months of doing that, you don't even really need the apps anymore. To be fair, you can just like laser eye stuff and be like, right, this sushi bowl is probably 800 calories. Like you can start to figure it out pretty easily. But those are great ways to sort of start. And in terms of creating the deficit, depending on how much weight you want to lose and depending on your mindset, because obviously the more aggressive the deficit, the, I suppose, more challenging it will be mentally as well. But we don't want to go too crazy in terms of getting the right results as well. So somewhere between a 200 and a 500 calorie deficit is perfect. If you want to take it a bit slower, maybe stick to that 200 to 300 calorie deficit. If you want to take it over the course of like half a year, if you want a bit faster results, going to that 500 is cool. But going into that multiple thousands, that's a little bit too intense, and that has some other fallbacks like drops in performance in the gym, etc. So in terms of how we want to plan our lifestyle to make this deficit as enjoyable as possible, I'll show you what I've been doing. And I've used this in the past a lot as well, and I'm doing this currently, is we want to do protein sparing fasting. So essentially, to break this down, we want to wake up and we want to set a timer. So I'll just set this on my phone, sort of 3 to 5 hours, depending on how much you want to go. 3 to 5 hours of not having any big meals. So for the first 3 to 5 hours, we want a high quality protein source. We want to aim for sub 200 calories here. So maybe protein shake, some eggs, a little bit of Greek yogurt, stuff like that. Keep you nice and full. That'll get some amino acids into the bloodstream as well, which will help with muscle retention. And of course, as you know, protein makes you feel fuller in your stomach. So we're in quite a fat burning phase here in the morning. Stuff like black coffee as well is great to sort of hold the hunger over. Green tea, all great. So that's for the first 3 to 5 hours. And then the first meal will be after that. So in this meal, depending on your overall goals, because again, as we know, to be losing body fat, we need to be in a caloric deficit. So we need to know how many calories we're sort of aiming for each day. Pretty good ballpark estimate, because it's very hard to be exactly on calories, sort of impossible. But if you're within a certain range there, you'll be in a deficit, you'll burn the body fat. So we want to aim for example, 600 to 1,000 calories for that first meal. We want it to be at least around that 40 grams of protein, so high quality, and then a good mix of carbs and fats. We don't want to cut out carbs, we don't want to cut out fats. They're both very important. Fats for your hormones, digestion, all that, joints, and then carbs for obviously performance when it comes to training especially. And then we want to go another 3 to 5 hours. So set that timer again, and then essentially the same idea. Second meal will be 600 to 1,000 calories. Again, trying to get that 40 grams of protein and good balance of carbs and fats. And then we want to keep going now. And then about an hour before bed, we want to have a source of protein before bed to sort of hold us over. The idea that we need a big, huge meal before bed is pretty silly, because, I mean, what are you doing in bed? You're laying there, your body's recovering. It doesn't need to be digesting all this food and all this pasta, as much as that tastes good. We just need a high quality protein source an hour before bed. So that could be a protein shake before bed. Again, Greek yogurt, eggs, they're all fantastic. So that's sort of the general layout here in terms of the diet. And when it comes to the cardio, I want us to aim for a step count. So again, if you love other forms of cardio, then you got to take that into account, because you're burning probably a lot of calories there as well. Let's say if you're a cyclist or you love running, whatever. But in terms of the average person, like me, What we want to sort of aim for is 12 to 18,000 steps a day. Now, steps are amazing. Low impact, steady state, non-intensive, not really fatiguing. In fact, it can be quite invigorating to go for a walk. And in fact, it can actually lower your hunger levels if you're a little bit hungry as well. Because on a diet, you will be a little hungry. You'll want to come to terms with the fact that your body's going to send some hunger signals and you want to roll with the waves there. You don't want ravenous hunger, but you do want to accept the fact that hunger is a great sign, because it means your body's now turning to the fat stores for energy because of the deficit. So yeah, we want to aim for that 12 to 18,000. Again, this is for people who don't have injuries. If you have an injury, we'll need to make a different idea. Maybe a rowing machine, etc. If you have any ankle, leg, foot injuries that sort of keep you out of walking that sort of 10,000+ steps. And again, or if you're quite overweight, then we can aim for that sort of 6 to 10K to start with. But steps is fantastic. Not strenuous, and you can do it throughout the day. So you've got the whole day to get that 12 to 18,000. I do like to aim for 18,000. The fat just melts off. When you're in that deficit and you're walking, the fat, it comes off very easily. And when you're walking, since it's so low intensity, the body prefers fat over stuff like glycogen. So if you're going running and you're in a deficit, you're more likely to burn lean tissue because it's fast digesting the glycogen, the carbs from the muscle. So essentially that's the plan there for the diet and the cardio, and it's fun. Like if you can gamify this, if you can enjoy it, like set that timer in the morning and be like, right, 3 to 5 hours. On the Apple iPhone I have, it's got the ring and it's just slowly depleting there, and you can see, okay, 2 more hours left. You can gamify it and be like, right, this is my fat burning zone, because you want to enjoy this and you want to see good transformation. You want to see the goals being met, you want to see the transformation taking place, and you want to gamify it. You want to have fun with it. Or else what's the point? You can't stick to that sort of lifestyle if you don't enjoy it. You want a high dopamine lifestyle, and this will help produce that dopamine for the right cause. So yeah. I can't stress enough as well just how important functional strength training is. So training our full body essentially really twice a week is ideal. So a lot of people think, right, I'm going to get on my diet, going to do my cardio. People's metabolic rates start to drop quite fast and they stop losing weight. And they're like, what am I doing? And they hit plateaus. And they might not get the look they want. They might look kind of flat or kind of skinny fat. They don't get the look they desire. And then they give up, and then they revert back. So I can't stress enough how much importance there is on the strength training side. It's, I would argue, even more important than the cardio is, because that's going to keep your metabolic rate higher by having more lean muscle tissue. It's going to give you that more toned look you want, and you're going to be functionally stronger throughout your life, which is massively important, especially as you start, getting a bit older. It's like you want to just keep as much strength as you can going into your latter years. And when you're younger, hey, who doesn't want to be stronger anyway? So very important to hit the full body really twice a week is the ideal. Yeah, very important. Now, I will say, if you like to work out in the morning like I do, there is an allowance here where I would add 100 to 200 calories of quick digesting carbs as well. So this can be oats, banana, fruit, something like that, just to give you a little bit of glycogen in the muscle. Probably eat that 30 minutes an hour before your workout, just to replenish a little bit, because carbs are going to help you in the gym. And if you can push more reps in the gym, you can build more lean muscle. Your performance is better, which means more muscle, retaining more muscle, higher metabolic rate, continually able to burn more fat more productively. So in the beginning here, if you're like me, we want that 200 calories of protein, and then on the workout days in the morning, 100 to 200 calories of carbs. If not, if you work out later in the day, it shouldn't be as much of an issue, because you've just had carbs with those larger meals if you're working out after that. Up to you. Once you've hit your goal weight, let's say you're 90 kilos, you want to get down to 80. Let's say you've managed to get to 80 over the course of, several months, multiple months there. What do we do then? Like, how do we want to maintain that forever? Because we don't want to just regress or go back to 90 or 88 or something. We want to maybe depending on your goals, maybe you want to slowly gain lean muscle whilst maintaining pretty good body composition. What you can do is you want to add 200 to 300 calories a day. Pretty easy, right? If that's your goal. So you can add that across the board here, anywhere. So in the morning, you could still stick to that fast if you want, or you could add another 200 calories of carbs and fats to it, plus 200, or you could do from a 1,000 calorie first meal to around about a 1,200 calorie, just adding it anywhere you want. You can add it before bed. It's completely up to you. That's why there's freedom and there's flexibility here. And there's some days where it might not look exactly like this for me. That's the thing as well. There is definitely flexibility. At the end of the day, we're just trying to hit a calorie goal as effectively and as fun, enjoyably as possible and maintainably as possible. So there might be a day where I'm super busy. So I might have sort of a meal here that's 600 calories. And then for my second meal, I might have a 1,400 calorie meal to make the difference. Say if I'm aiming for 2 sets of 1,000, right? So yeah, like there's multiple ways to skin a cat here. So don't be too rigid. This is a great foundational template, but you can mix it up depending on your life, depending on the day as well. Because as we know, life changes, days change, motivation changes, energy can change as well. So we can't be too cardboard about this. So keep that in mind. But this is a great foundational template and something you can stick to as well, just to really get the habit locked in 2026. Like let's go. Like let's start locking in. Let's feel that motivation, that dopamine of getting a good goal and starting to see the results. And then you can play around with it a little bit. Yeah.